Today we're going to take a look at one of the more challenging concepts for the up-and-coming pilot. We're going to look at crosswind landings.
Yeah, there was a bad one. SoCal approach, Sky Hawk, 916 November Tango, 5000.
916 November Tango, SoCal approach, commentary altimeter 298. Confirm this will be a full stop.
Aim for the orange dot, clear to land on the green dot, runway 27. Good turn, tail dragger. Keep the turn coming all the way around to the runway.
Alright, so we want to talk about what a crosswind is in aviation. For that, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need a runway, we should probably get an airplane, and we're definitely going to need some wind. So in the simplest of terms, what a crosswind is basically any time the wind is not blowing straight down the runway. So we have our wind now coming from the side here. This would be considered a crosswind situation. Now we can have different levels of crosswind as well. We can have a very small crosswind component where most of the wind is actually coming from the front, which is a headwind. Or we could have a more larger crosswind component where the wind is coming almost perpendicular to the runway entirely. So then why does all of this matter? Well, it turns out when you're in an airplane, our airplanes tend to weather vane into the wind. Even if we were to fly above the ground here, straight, if we wanted to track in this direction, the airplane would naturally have to fly a little bit pointed into the wind to accomplish that. Alright, so what's the big deal? We got our crosswind, the airplane wants to weather vane into the wind. What's so special about that? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at a landing here. We got runway 24 directly in front of us here and everything's looking pretty good. The wind is still coming from the left in this direction here, so when the aircraft comes in to land, it's gonna look a little something like this. Now the problem we can run into if we decide to continue the approach like this is if we land in a crabbed situation, like so, we can end up putting a lot of stress on that right landing gear and sort of dragging along like that. So what's the solution? Well, better pilots than me came up with this a long time ago, but what they found out is you can slip the aircraft so that you're coming into land like this. Now instead of being in that original crabbed situation where the airplane is naturally weather vaning into the wind, we're stopping that natural weather vane by first applying right rudder to align the longitudinal axis and left aileron to control our side slip. So by flying this way, we're able to touch down on that left wheel first, continue tracking straight, bring that right wheel down, and then gently de-rotate the aircraft onto the nose wheel. Let that nose wheel come down and roll out. Now as far as the basics, that's really all we're trying to do. We're trying to come into landing and align the airplane's longitudinal axis with the runway so that when we touch down, we don't put a lot of stress on the landing gear, because we can touch down in this crabbed configuration and sort of skid the airplane along like that, but it's going to put a lot of stress on this right landing gear in this case. So the proper technique, use the side slip method, land on that left wheel first, come down on the right after, and then roll out. Now this is pretty crude, I think we need something a little bit more, so let's go ahead and bring out the simulator. And welcome to Ukiah Municipal Airport in X-Plane 12. I actually redesigned this entire airport for X-Plane 12 after major changes were done to the blast pad, taxiways, and the overall width of the runway. So if you're on the latest version of X-Plane 12, you can fly to a realistic Ukiah airport. Here we are coming in to land on runway 33 in the Cessna 172. When you look at the external view, you can really see that crab angle. Look at how the airplane is weather vaning into the wind. Pay attention to the position of the controls. Look at that left aileron and right rudder. And touch down on that left wheel. And roll out. So now that we've developed an understanding for the crosswind landings and what they should look like, let's go ahead and jump into the airplane and do them for real.
Skyline 501 Delta Sierra is departing runway 33 right, close traffic. Got it. There we go. So we're starting with a left crosswind, right? The wind is coming from the left, so I have the yoke angled towards the left. And then as soon as we start gaining speed, I'll take it out slowly, and then I should be able to rotate, take off, and you'll see the process. All right, ready? So we'll get the power coming in off the brakes. Power set. There we go. It's pretty bumpy. So when there's like wind like this, every turn that I make, it has to be angled because that wind is going to be taking us. Like we're tracking like that right now, but we're actually pointed over here. So it's all like stuff that you have to take into account. That's the fun thing about flying with the wind, I guess. You got traffic, Skyline 501 Delta Sierra, right downwind 33 for the option. You got it. So I'm keeping the speed in the, within the white range here, which means I could drop the flaps. Just kind of coasting along, we're at pattern altitude. And here now the wind is trying to push me off course here, which is why I'm pointed towards the runway a little bit. But I'm not really thinking about it, I just kind of feel it at this point. But when you're starting off flying, you genuinely have to think about okay, which way is the wind coming from,
Do you get that from the weather radio, or do you get the direct?
Right now, no, I'm just kind of feeling it. But on the ground, yeah, that's the first thing I listen to, right? So I know that the wind was going to be coming from that direction. If you don't listen to it and you just take off, then you'll be surprised, But after a couple seconds, you should be able to kind of have a good estimation of where it's coming from. But no, you definitely want to listen to it before. So I'm coming in with just flaps 10 right now because it's kind of gusty. So I'll probably only go to flaps 20 degrees, when we level out here. You got traffic, Skyline 501 Delta Sierra is right base 33, touch and go, Ukiah. And right here, I have to keep the plane angled like this in order to fly straight. Which is the most backwards thing to think about, right? Alright, let's see what we can do. So now I have the full, deflection here. Okay, so flaps, trim, sure prop, RP, power's coming in. There we go. Look at the angle.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we practice it. Because if you don't practice this and then you fly into an airport where it's windy and it's like this, you're gonna get a surprise. It's pretty fun though. I think it's pretty fun.
Kind of just trying to get the orientation of it and trying to get it
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like a game almost. You're trying to nail it. Alright, so we're about right where the numbers are is typically where I start pulling the power. Power, prop, carpet. try flaps 20 this time. Ukiah traffic style 501 Delta Sierra, right base to final 33 Ukiah. There, I'm clicking the lights on again just to make sure they don't like time out on me. Because they're on a timer, so if you don't like keep clicking it, they'll shut off. I mean, obviously I can see the runway, but having the lights on is kind of nice. Okay, so everything is set. Now I'm focusing on just kind of keeping it aligned. Speed is looking good. Okay, so flaps, mixture, trim. Okay, then carb heat. Then we go back again. There's like a little layer close to the ground where it's pretty smooth, and then as soon as you get back up again, it's like, it's pretty interesting how the wind works like that. So that was number 2. So okay, let's do one more maybe, and then we'll take off. We'll fly over the lake, and if you want to fly a little bit, we can do that too. So again, power, carb heat, prop, flaps to 10. It's kind of a lot to like multitask, you know, while you're trying to still, you know, turn and do all of that. So one of the things that you kind of have to learn as you train is how to like fly the airplane kind of by instinct, so you can do all of this other stuff, you know, with your right hand pretty much. That's a skill to develop. Ukiah traffic 1 Delta Sierra, right base to final 33 Ukiah. Final looks clear. So far we're 2 for 2, pretty smooth, but never know, man. Could be a gust at the end and
About to get the butter land.
yeah, that's what it's about. Alright. Go 20 on this one again. I mean, most people would say that I'm very fast right now. You know, I'm still at above 90, but I like to come in with more energy when there's gusts like this, because it gives me a safety buffer. So like now I'm already at 85, so I bleed off energy pretty quickly in this airplane. Ooh. Yeah, there was a bad one. It's all good. Alright, mixture, prop, trim. Flaps are set, carb heat. Alright. And I'm gonna hold it down so I can build up some speed. There we go. Alright, let's head over to the coast and see what it's like. Alright?
So I hope this was able to provide some more insight into how and why we do crosswind landings.
And run my descent check. Throttle mixture, we'll richen the mixture since we're gonna be down low.
Part 2 is gonna have the more fun part of the flight where we catch the sunset and fly from Elk all the way down Manchester Beach to the Point Arena Lighthouse. Now this is one of my favorite routes to fly because it's just so beautiful, and we really caught it at a great time because of the sunset. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Stay safe, keep flying, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.